Hi, I'm Jay, and I'm terrible at intros. I'm trying to figure it out, but until I do, this is what you're gonna get. So, I'm just gonna talk, I guess. So, my hair's a mess, but that's okay. Well, my full name is Jalen Joy Williams. Joy's kind of a weird middle name. My birth name is Jayla. I have a script, so yeah, I'm gonna look at it sometimes. I'm 19. I live in Michigan. Lived here my whole life. Used to live up north. I live not up north, I guess. My family, kind of like every dysfunctional family, I suppose. My mom and dad never got married, so it was really weird. My dad's still in my life, which is also really weird. But yeah. So, this is why I can't be a YouTuber. Because I don't know what to talk about. So let's talk about growing up. Alright. Growing up, I guess, was interesting for me. I was born on January 17, 2000, as Jayla, obviously. And I never really acted like normal little girls act. I always wore boy clothes and played outside in the dirt and just went crazy and acted crazy. Like we used to have a swimming pool, and I used to swim in the pool with no shirt on and basketball shorts because I thought I was a boy. And I always had I only had boy friends. I never had girlfriends. And I wanted to be one of the boys, and so it was weird. Around second grade, I started liking girls or feeling some type of way about girls, and I didn't know what to do. I was 10, so I don't know. I just I knew something was really different about me when I was really young, and so I need my script. Yeah, I never really was into boys ever, my whole life. I always admired boys or tried to be like boys, but I never was oh, I like this boy. Well, one time I did say I liked a boy so I could cover up the fact that I liked girls, and it was a whole story. We might talk about that one day, but you never know. Puberty was very, very weird for me, and I hated it because everybody accepted me as one of the boys, everything was cool, and then I grew boobs, and then things got weird because boys started liking me and telling me they liked me, and I was I didn't want any part in that. I was good, no thank you. Yeah, it was weird. Obviously I never showed interest in boys, but when puberty hit, I felt I needed to I don't know, be a girl. So I started dressing up girlier, wearing leggings and skirts to school, and wearing makeup. And then I'd say around 7th grade, I started being I was really uncomfortable with it. And so I started dressing like a boy again, wearing t-shirts, shorts, pants, that kind of stuff, all that. And then in 7th grade, I started my period at school. So it was really rough. I cried really hard because I wasn't expecting it, because my whole life I thought I was just one of the boys, and I was very upset. Oh, it was rough. We're not gonna talk about what happened because it's a little bit too much information, but yeah, it was rough. And so I kind of I don't know, it was weird. I say that a lot, obviously. It was really weird. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to do a lot of editing. A lot of editing. So, like, I'd say, like, end of 7th grade, beginning of 8th grade, like, I started, like any normal person does, I started, like, having feelings for people. And it was never boys, it was always girls. So I was very confused about my sexuality in, like, in the sense that I didn't know what it meant to like girls, really. I kind of just, like, I knew I didn't like guys, but I didn't know I was allowed to like girls. And so that was really weird for me. And so I kind of didn't say anything about it. I just kind of, like, let it be in the back of my mind or whatever until 10th grade, I think. Yeah, it was 10th grade where I started talking to this girl. Like, we're not going to talk about how I met her because that's going to give it away. But I started talking to this girl and she asked me, she was like, are you bi? Are you gay? And I said, I don't know, because I honestly didn't know. Like, I had never been with a guy. I didn't want to be with a guy, but I'd never been with a girl either. So, like, I didn't know. And so we started talking and I kind of, like, started liking her. And then I realized, like, okay, I'm gay, so I need to come out. So I came out to my mom and it was not a good experience. So basically, she was like, one day we were in the car. It was a complete accident too. Like, I wasn't planning on coming out at all. Like, so we were in the car and I had been hanging out with this girl that I was talking to for, like, a while. And, like, we had become really close and obviously, like, because we liked each other. So we were in the car and she was like, you better be careful hanging out with that girl, you know she's gay, right? And I said, why does that matter? And she said, because I don't want you to get wrapped up in that. And I told her, what if I'm gay? And she said, but you're not. And I said, but what if I am? And she said, but you're not. And I said, but what if I am? And she said, well, then I'm telling your dad. And to me, that was, like, the end of the freaking world, because my dad is really homophobic. So when I was in, like, 7th grade, I had a friend and we were best friends. She's my best friend now. Like, I love her. Like, she's awesome. And so she was my best friend and we got into a fight and my dad had picked me up from school that day. And I got into the car crying and he was like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And I was like, nothing, I'm fine. And I just didn't want to talk about it. And he was like, tell me. And my dad's the type that if you don't tell him, he'll freak out. And I didn't want him to freak out. So I just told him, I was like, yeah, I got in a fight with my friend and I'm really upset about it. And he was like, what, are you gay? And I said, what? And he was like, if you're gay, I'll put you out of your misery myself. And so I had always been super scared to confront my dad about anything that I was feeling. So I'm like, that was like the end of the world to me. Like, if she told him, it would have been over. And so I was like I was thinking, like, maybe I should just, like, say I was joking or say I was pretending. But, like, something inside of me, like, wanted her to know. And so I was like, no, I'm gay. Like, you need to know. And she flipped out. She's basically like, you don't know what you are. You're too young. Like, you've never even been with a guy. I don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy and all this stuff. And it was really rough for me. We didn't talk for months. Like, we kind of just lived with each other, didn't say anything to each other. It was crazy. And then she slowly started to kind of accept the fact that I was serious when I had my first girlfriend. And she didn't really accept it. She just tolerated it because she knew she wasn't going to be able to change me. And so, like, a couple years went on. I had different girlfriends here and there. And she started to actually accept me and just, like, realize that that's who I was. And so she started, like, interacting with my girlfriends more and, like, being more involved in my relationships and just, like, kind of caring about it, asking questions, that kind of stuff. And, like, everything was a lot better. But then one day, just randomly, she was like, are you sure you're not bi? And I said, what do you mean, am I sure? And she said, well, you never know until you try it. I just really think you should try it. Like, just try to be with a boy. And I was like, Mom, that's not going to happen. Like, I'm afraid of penises. I don't like dick. Like, no. No. And she was kind of, like, upset about it. We kind of got distant again. And I feel like she thought she could change me with like just saying that, and that kind of hurt, so I kind of pushed her away a little bit. And then I started obviously dressing more like a boy, like wearing bow ties, little shirts, like button-up shirts to prom or to homecomings and dances and stuff. And she used to make me wear a dress on picture day so that she could post pictures on Facebook and then let me change to go to the dance. And that kind of hurt too. Like it made me feel like she was embarrassed to have me like be me, you know? And so like even to this day she's kind of iffy about like who I am and everything. Like she says she doesn't understand it, and how like I have never been with a boy, so like why don't I try and all this stuff. But like she's getting a lot better. Like a couple months ago she was just sitting on the couch. I was in the bathroom, and like she called my name, and she was like, come out here. And she was crying, and I was like, what's wrong? And she said, I just want to apologize for the way that I acted when you came out. Like I didn't support you, and I feel really bad about it, and like I could have hurt you more than I wanted to, and just like all this stuff. And like she was crying, I was crying, it was crazy. Like it made me feel really good, and I'm glad that like she can accept me now. Well, she could accept me. And yeah, that moment was a really good moment, like something that I'm gonna remember forever. And yeah, so that's my mom. What else? So yeah, so I came out to my mom, came out to close friends, like the friend that I was talking about from like 6th grade, another close friend that also happens to be gay. Two of my close friends happen to be gay. And it was a weird time because like they were kind of like struggling with their sexuality too, so it was kind of like relatable, like, oh my gosh, no way, me too. And I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, and so came out to some close friends. I came out to some like closer family members, like my aunts, and they were really cool with it. They were really supportive and everything, and it was just great. And I just like had a really good support system, and just like they try to convince my mom, like, you know, it's okay, like, that she's like this and all this stuff. And I think my Aunt Tammy really got to her and, like, helped her realize that, you know, like, I'm gonna be who I am, and, like, you just have to accept that. And so, I never came out to my dad, like, ever. I came out to my stepmom, and my stepmom told my dad, and my dad didn't say anything. So I didn't even know he knew for maybe a year, until one day in the car. This was actually pretty recent. It was about a month ago. No, it was more like 2 months ago. We were driving up to the mall, and my mom was telling my dad about my sister's boyfriend, and he was saying all this stuff about how he doesn't want to hear about it, he doesn't care about the relationship stuff, like, he wants to stay out of it, like, he doesn't care. He was getting really mad about it, which was weird. And then he said, why can't you just be a lesbian like your sister? And that kind of, like, caught me off guard a little bit, because I was really confused. I was like, what? You know? But at the same time, I was kind of offended because, like, for some reason, I don't like that word. Like, the word lesbian, I don't like that. It, like, sounds like a disease to me for some reason. Like, I just really don't like that word. And, like, he did it so, like, disrespectfully. Like, you kind of had to be there to realize, like, how I felt about it. But, it was crazy. And I kind of, like, I was just really confused, honestly. Like, I didn't say anything. I kind of just laughed. Like, it was funny. Like, the whole car was laughing. And I was like, oh, funny, yeah. But, like, I actually was kind of hurt by it. And I never really told him, just because, like, we don't talk. Like, our relationship is strictly basketball. And that's one of the reasons that I didn't want to tell him. Because, like, we only talk about basketball. Like, I've never opened up to my dad about anything. And so, that was rough. And it still kind of is rough because, like, I want to talk to him about, like, some things. But, like, I know he's not going to accept it. And he's not going to want to talk about it. He doesn't even want to talk about my sister's relationship, and she's straight. So, it's weird. But yeah, so I came out to everybody, kind of just lived my life, like went to prom, wore like a kind of a suit type thing, everything. And then like I'd say like I always had trouble with like my self-esteem and like looking at myself in the mirror, but like it got really bad around like the beginning of 12th grade. Oh, I gained a little bit of weight. No, actually it was the end of 12th grade when I gained a little bit of weight and my boobs got really big and my butt was really big. I like got hips and like really big hips and stuff. And so like looking in the mirror, I always felt like really uncomfortable, and like I didn't think like I felt like I wasn't supposed to look like that. And so I started wearing like bigger clothes, like extra large shirts when I'm a medium, like to hide everything. And yeah, I just was really struggling with like who I was and how I looked. And so I was like, and I didn't know why. And so like it was really hard for me. Like I was really depressed. I was dealing with some other mental health issues, not taking medicine, just like I was just spiraling. And just like I don't know how it happened, but like I think I was reading about something, like about a transgender guy and how like all this stuff had happened to him when he was like younger and like my age, and how like he never really like felt like himself. And I kind of related. I was like, wait, am I trans? And like I thought about it for a long time, because like a lot of it made sense. Like I had always wanted to be a boy. I never was okay with the girly changes that were happening like with my body and all this stuff. And so I thought about it for a long time, a very long time. And just one day I was like, yeah, I'm trans. And so I went to my therapist and I told her, and she said that I needed to tell my mom. But I was afraid to tell my mom because my mom had just started accepting me for who I was, or who I thought I was, I guess. And so I told my friends first. Told, yeah, my closest friends and a couple of other people, but like maybe I told 5 people in total until I felt comfortable like talking about it. And then I told my mom. I told my mom in the urgent care, in one of the urgent care rooms. We were there for my sister, and she had gone to x-ray or something. I don't know. She went somewhere. And I was like, Mom, I need to tell you something. And she said, what? And I was like, you can't get mad. And she was like, tell me. And I was like, I couldn't tell her. And she started guessing. She said, do you want to change your name? And I said, it's kind of like that. And she said, well, do you want to be a boy? And I said, yeah. And she was like, well, why would you think I'd be mad about that? And I said, because of what happened when I came out as gay. And she was kind of like, I'm not mad, but I just don't understand. And I think you should wait. So I decided to listen to her and wait. And just everything got worse. Like the way I saw myself, everything just got so much worse. And I was struggling really bad with it. And then I ended up going to the hospital, like to the psych ward. And it was scary there. Don't go to the psych ward. Just because like I was so insecure, so depressed, so worried about everything. And then I got out. They put me on some new medications that they didn't help like the body image thing, but it kind of helped my depression and everything, and it helped me like get into a good place and just realize like and figure out what I wanted and what I needed. And so I decided that I was going to go ahead with my transition. And so I came out on Instagram as trans on my Finsta, because I'm too much of a scaredy cat to come out on my real Instagram just because I have family on there and my dad does not need to find out. So I came out on my Finsta. I had a lot of support from my friends and it was just crazy. Like, I never expected to have so much support from people. And, like, people that I didn't even know were commenting on my post saying, like, you're so strong. Like, I got, like, mad respect for you. Like, this is awesome. People were, like, texting me saying, like, don't let anybody tell you who you are and just, like, embrace who you are and what you want to be. And I said, well, I didn't say anything, like, obviously, but, like, I was just really happy. And it made, like, when I came out, like, it felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. And it was amazing. And so I told my mom I was going to go ahead with my transition. And she basically said the same thing. You need to wait. Like, I don't think you're ready. And that kind of set me back a little bit. Just because I feel like she thinks I'm rushing when I've been in this downward spiral for years, just like trying to figure out what's happening. And like now that I actually know, and the fact that she wants me to like slow down or like not pursue that hurts, because I feel like this is something that if I do it, I'm gonna be much happier, and she's kind of keeping me from doing it. And so this video is 21 minutes long.
You're gonna do editing.
Yeah, but not that much.
Well, there's just gonna be long.
Okay. And yeah, so I came out to my mom. I came out to my friends. Everybody's really supportive. My mom says she supports me. It doesn't matter what I want to go by, what pronouns I use. She's still going to accept me. She just doesn't want me to medically transition, which is something that I really want to do. So it's kind of like a weird thing there, but yeah. People sometimes struggle with misgendering and calling me Jayla still, which I completely understand, because like sometimes I introduce myself as Jayla, or sometimes like I don't know, it's hard for me sometimes, so like I understand how other people can have a problem or like have trouble with it, you know. And so yeah, it's pretty much where I'm at right now. Obviously pre-T. I am hoping to talk to my therapist within the next couple weeks about starting testosterone, talking to my doctor about starting testosterone. Yeah. I got my first binders. They're a little small, but they're awesome. They make me feel so much better about myself. Like, I didn't think such a small thing could make me feel so, like, confident. And it's crazy. But, like, it makes me feel a lot better. And, yeah. So, that's me, I guess. But, yeah, basically, I'm going to use this as kind of a place to kind of vent and just talk about my journey, and we'll see what happens. And I think it's gonna be crazy, but I think I'm gonna end up happy, so I'm excited. I'm very excited, actually. Like, I cannot wait to like start medically transitioning. Like, I think about it every second of every day. Like, it's crazy how much I think about it. And so like, I know I'm never gonna change my mind or anything. Like, I know this is what I want. And like, when people like call me he or say Jalen, like, that makes me feel good. And like, I just know like I'm not gonna change my mind. So what's the point in waiting if this is what I want, you know? So yeah, that's all I got to say. I don't know how often I'm gonna be posting or whatever, but I do post pretty often on my Instagram, so follow me, Jalen J. Williams. I'm plugging my Instagram, obviously. This is very, very weird, but follow me. Subscribe, you know, like, comment, all that stuff that real YouTubers do. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna be posting about, I already said this, I don't know why I'm saying it again, but whatever. I'm gonna post like videos like when I start tea, like that kind of stuff, like all the basic things. And yeah, that's about it. So I'll see you guys later. Peace.